Hey you guys, my name is Asmara and welcome back to the channel. So today I really wanted to talk about myself. This is something that I've been thinking about for a while, but many of you guys have come to my channel from my Sims 4 documentary, What Happened to the Sims 4. I actually think it'd be interesting to know how you guys found out about my channel, but I know especially last year, a lot of people found my channel from that video that kind of blew up within the Sims community, and I kind of wanted to just sit and reflect a little bit on how having a viral video has affected me. Some of the things I've learned from then, a year in retrospect, as well as what the side effects are to having, I guess, a video blow up. And a part of me is also kind of hesitant to call it like viral because, I mean, of course there are people who have much more, viral videos and people who has way more views than that documentary has. I feel like that video blew up within a niche community of people, but nevertheless, it was a blow up. I started out 2021 with 400 or 500 subscribers, sort of in that range. And then when I posted What Happened to The Sims 4 Part 2, that was January 30th, by the end of February, which February is also the shortest month of the year, I had over 10,000 subscribers. So I went from like 500 subscribers at the beginning of the year to over 10,000 in less than 30 days. Because again, February is a short month. So yeah, that was definitely a time, and I feel like I've kind of given updates throughout, my time here on YouTube, talking about sort of what I've been experiencing at different points, but I thought it would be interesting just to sit here and just reflect and share some things that I've learned from that blow up, and also what I've learned kind of from content creation and about myself from having that experience. The first lesson I really learned from that time was that the universe or God, whatever higher power you believe in, really does not work on predictability. Like I was saying before, I literally gained over 10,000 subscribers in less than 30 days. And that is not something I could have planned for. And I definitely, I'm a planner, I'm a perfectionist, admittedly. I planned out my channel before starting it. I had lists of video ideas and content and how I wanted to grow my channel at its start to sort of get it off the ground. And I did all this planning. I literally have notes, pages of notes about how I wanted to work out Asmara. But that one video kind of blowing up, I could have never expected. And then if you also want to follow up with, I was featured as gaming creator on the Rise in February 28th, so the last day of February, which I was on the YouTube trending page. That's another thing I definitely could not have predicted or planned. I'm actually reading Will Smith's book, which is fantastic, by the way. Will, y'all should definitely go check it out. I have it right here, and there's this quote that he says about sort of trusting in the randomness of life that I just wanted to read real fast. So this is on page 177, if any of you guys are curious, and it says, "A major aspect of the pain and mental anguish we experience as humans is that our minds seek and often demand logic and order from an illogical universe. Our minds desperately want shit to add up, but the rules of logic do not apply to the laws of possibility. The universe functions under the laws of magic." I really like that quote, and it just kind of reminded me of that, so I thought I would share. But yes, I definitely could not have predicted What Happened to The Sims 4 getting as big as it did within sort of the Sims community. And that really just taught me that there is a lot of randomness to life that you can't plan for. You can do literally all the outlining and planning and content strategizing as you want. But at the end of the day, your job as a creator is to create content and put it out there. There's a lot of factors and obstacles and algorithms that, determine whether or not a lot of people see it, whether a few people see it. But at the end of the day, our job is just to create the content, good content, and put it out there. And there is definitely validity to having content strategies, and there is, it's have a plan, but allow it to be loose enough where you can allow life to happen. You can allow God to do his thing and make the illogical happen. And that kind of leads me to the next lesson that I've learned, and it's that the volume of something does not equate to the value of it. After, you know, that rise happened in February, where I was getting all these subscribers, and you know, the videos, the What Happened to The Sims 4 documentary had over 10,000 views. I was featured on Gaming Crate on the Rise. My other video essays were increasing in viewership as well, and my following, my presence online was growing. But after that sort of shift, sort of say February, March, there was a decline in the viewership or the retention, and that's to be expected on the internet. Sometimes people will just subscribe or follow just because they liked one video. They're not necessarily going to watch and commit to watching all of your stuff. So that's like typical. But I guess what I was not prepared for sort of after that growth, sort of learning to be okay with just having average performing videos, you know, and coming to terms with the fact that my videos are not gonna have the same viewership and view count as they did when my channel was sort of on a rapid growth, you know, in that season. But like I was saying before, the volume of something does not equate to the value. So whether a video has 400 views or, you know, 100,000 views, that doesn't make the video that was viewed over 100,000 times any more valuable than the one that was viewed 400 times. Because I genuinely believe that every video you create as a creator has, if it has an audience, if you created it with purpose, and it's for somebody, if it's helpful, if it's adding to the world, then there's value in that. And you don't know who could stumble across, say, you know, said video that maybe has 400 views and be impacted by it. And so again, our jobs as creators is just to create the content and put it out there. We ultimately don't have control over who sees it, who's impacted by it, how many views it has, if the algorithm pushes it out or not. Like, we don't have control over so many of these factors. And so I think I definitely had to learn that the volume of your videos, the viewership, the reach, the view count does not make your content any more or less valuable. Another thing I've been learning is about how I respond to sort of rapid growth or, you know, a growing online platform essentially. I think there's definitely a pressure when you have a viral video to keep up with the momentum, to capitalize off of that growth. And this is something I'm still kind of debating now, or kind of questioning, is it worth it to sort of keep working during that growth to capitalize on the success you're seeing, at least, you know, view count wise, even if it costs you burnout or it kind of makes you unsure. It might be worth it to some people to capitalize on their kind of spot in the spotlight, but for me, I decided to take several breaks. I know that I definitely was very overwhelmed during that time, and a lot more just conscious of all these, you know, different eyeballs on me, and all of a sudden all these random people know who I am. And even though I don't have a big platform by any means, but my natural response is like, I don't want to be in the spotlight. And so it was definitely overwhelming when that video first started to rise. And that's just something I've been questioning in the back of my mind, is what would my channel look like had I capitalized on that growth and kept making the type of content that was continuing to have my channel grow, which at that time was mainly Sims content, and then also my video essays. And that kind of leads me to another thing I've learned, which is my video essays and just my commentary, and whenever I talk about serious topics, that also takes an emotional toll on me personally. And I've heard a few other commentary channels say this. One of my favorites, D'Angelo Wallace, he took like a break for several months, and he recently came back and was talking about whether or not it was worth it to always talk about the bad things happening in the world. But it was just interesting, and he's not the only person I've heard talk about this, but a few other creators I've heard express this as well, is like, especially when you talk about real world topics, or a lot of the times my videos were about race, and I did a video essay on Life is Strange 2, which is about, like, you know, xenophobia and hate crimes and a lot of just heavy topics. It takes a toll. I guess viewers don't necessarily see that because I mean, y'all have the benefit of just watching the video, not creating it, not doing the research, not reading all the articles and watching all the movies of bad things happening to people. Again, right now I'm specifically talking about my content that tackles heavier subject matter, not necessarily like, you know, what happened to The Sims 4? Like, at the end of the day, what happened to The Sims 4 doesn't matter, but it's a different type of emotional toll that also comes with creating content about bigger things that are bigger than me, you know, and because I want to be responsible with my platform, I definitely want to not spread harmful information. It's a pressure, it's an extra added pressure, it's an extra weight for that type of content. And there's this feeling of guilt of like stopping uploading the content that people originally came to follow me for. And that's something I've been kind of debating lately. To what extent does capitalizing off of growth pay off? At what extent is it worth it? Another lesson I've definitely learned from having that viral internet video is learning how to protect my peace and my energy online. I've definitely realized that with comments and just social media in general, but especially with, you know, comments and all of a sudden having like no people comment or like 2 people comment on a video to like thousands or hundreds of comments coming in just at once, you realize that people are not wired to receive that much information about themselves or their work at once. And this goes for positive or negative. Fortunately, most of my comments have been positive and, you know, encouraging, uplifting, but even then, I think it's important to realize that as humans, we are literally not meant, like, fame is probably one of the most foreign things to human beings because we're not meant to be receiving that much feedback about ourselves, whether it's good feedback or there's bad feedback. And so I'm trying to learn also right now to like not take any comments about me too personally. But from that sort of rise, I definitely had to start creating sort of boundaries of when I checked comments and how often I check comments. And that's something I still implement today, which I definitely think has been very beneficial and really helpful. I was starting to get a lot of gaslighting comments on my analytical videos, particularly when I talked about race. And when I was, you know, that was specifically during that Creator on the Rise era, or it wasn't just people who were part of the Sims sort of niche community, but I got an audience, or I got trolls and randoms from being featured on YouTube's trending page for that day. So a lot of those trolls came in and, you know, leaving rude comments, disrespectful comments. It's hard to read, you know, people purposely wanting to dehumanize you or your group of people, your race, in your comment section. People, you know, be mad bull behind keyboards and behind screens. And I think I've learned, for me personally, I'm also a very sensitive person. I'm not a person that can really brush off emotions or negative comments as easily. So I definitely had to implement when I look at comments, how often I look at comments. As you might notice that when I upload a new video, I don't respond to comments in like the first like 24 hours. That's a boundary I sort of kind of created with myself. I don't click that little bell like at the top to look at my comments. I actually go to my YouTube dashboard and go to comments to actually see what people are saying. I try to limit how often I look at comments because I just don't want to let certain energy in if it might not be helpful for me. And I just have separate times where I look at comments and really take in the world, if that makes sense, the world's opinions. Because protecting your peace online is important. And it definitely helps, especially if you're confident and sure of yourself and your abilities before you allow the energy of other people in. Because if you are already starting in a vulnerable space, it's going to be harder to differentiate your inner voice from the voices of just randoms on the internet. My next lesson kind of has to do with something I was talking about earlier, which is sort of feeling conflicted about whether or not, or how far I should go to sort of keep up the momentum of growth. And a lot of people at that time came to my channel for either my video essays, my commentary, or my Sims videos. With the video essays, I was saying it took an emotional toll that I definitely was not expecting. And so it kind of made me thinking, like, how much is too much analytical commentary, serious content versus the fun gameplay content? I was actually listening to a podcast where they were talking about what is better, conscious rap or club bangers, and that's kind of the metaphor I've been using for my YouTube channel. Like, how much conscious rap do I want to put on, like conscious content, social content commentary versus just the fun videos of just playing games and having a good time, streaming. How much is too much? And there's also like a feeling of also not trying to feel guilt for not having equal amounts. You know, I've been definitely learning that there's place for both. There's place for conscious rap, there's place for club bangers in the world. Both serve a purpose and both are necessary. Another thing I've been definitely learning is that I don't want to make a video essay or a commentary video unless I have something to say. There's another quote from Will's book where he talks about his mother always used to say that she never speaks unless it improves on the silence. And that's definitely kind of how I want to approach my video essays, or especially my commentary and more conscious content. I want to make a video if I, one, have something to say, and two, if it improves on the silence. But yeah, there definitely is a pressure to sort of keep up with the content that kind of got you to where you are in the first place. And this is a kind of another pending lesson, is it better to just make the content you want, even though that's probably going to be worse for the algorithm? Let's be honest, people are probably not going to be as engaged if you're not super niche down. It might be harder for people to find your content and connect with you if you're always uploading different types of things. But is it worth it to upload just what you want? Or is it better to have a niche to stick to? And that's something I'm still sort of debating and thinking about. It's definitely a reality, I acknowledge, that my channel is not going to grow as fast if I'm not a very specific type of niche, if I'm always kind of experimenting and doing different things. There's a lot of external factors that make it harder for people who diversify their content to kind of grow in the same way, versus if I just uploaded one type of video or the same type of videos that there's already an established community after. So that's something I've been thinking about. There's also like a sort of frustration with The Sims. I don't know if you've like noticed, or if any of you guys have noticed, but I feel like since people were starting to heavily associate me with The Sims, that's when I started not uploading Sims. Because I definitely, like I was saying before, I definitely don't want to be known just for one thing. And so there's kind of developed a bit of a bitterness or frustration just with Sims as a whole, which I don't think I would have to the same extent had like the Sims community kind of draw me in. But then on the flip side, I'm also questioning, like, am I being ungrateful for the audience I've developed from The Sims? You guys have shown me so much support, and obviously I would not be here today if it wasn't for that video and it wasn't for people retweeting, you know, my documentary and commenting, and The Sims community just as a whole just sort of bringing me in. Like, I feel like there's a sort of guilt also with feeling like ungrateful for the following and the notoriety I have gained from that community that I'm also not trying to be super heavily associated with. It's a weird like dichotomy, sort of push and pull, where I want to be known for more than The Sims, which I know if I wanted that to happen, I had to upload things that were not just Sims, so that's kind of what I started doing. But then kind of being frustrated with people only associating me with the game. My Sims content will always perform well, and something I can kind of just expect. And then it's just, you know, frustration with my other videos not doing as well, or trying to find the audience for the other content has been challenging, but it's something I'm working on. I don't want to be ungrateful for what got me my start, but I also know that there's so much more I want to offer, and I need to find that audience that is willing to take that in. And that's not to say none of my Sims audience will take in that, because there's, you know, several of you guys who might have found me from The Sims but watch my other content as well, and I appreciate y'all, and I see y'all in the comments and in my stream chats. But yeah, it's definitely, I would be lying if I said that there was sort of a questioning of like, do folks really just care about The Sims, or how am I also going to find the folks who also care about me and the larger message that I want to share with my content that goes way beyond just Sims. I want to end on a happy note with some positive things that have come as a result of having a viral internet video. And the first one is definitely exposure. Exposure and access to people and opportunities I would have never had, you know, the opportunity to have access to had it not been for that video blowing up. I've had the opportunity to do a sponsorship, which has been really cool. people reaching out to me because of, you know, whatever videos of me they've seen. I've also been able to collaborate with other creators, which I don't think would happen had I not had that initial exposure from the video kind of blowing up and kind of having a face in sort of the online gaming space. That rhymes. Yeah, the exposure and access to people I never thought I would speak to, or even it's just, you know, short internet conversations with creators I really admire. Not to toot my own horn, but I've been followed by some cool people on Twitter, and that makes me feel really good. My content has also been tweeted out by YouTube Gaming a few times. They shared my Life is Strange 2 Let's Play. They shared my What It's Like to Be a Black Woman in Gaming video. Yeah, that panel. They tweeted out when I was gaming Create on the Rise. They obviously tweeted out my Sims 4 documentary. So it's even like opportunities like that that are just really cool that have happened as a result of that video. But alas, I feel like the biggest lesson I've sort of taken away from having a viral internet video is being able to envision a future for myself on this platform. I've been making videos for a long time. I've been making videos since I was 11, and I've been making YouTube videos maybe since about like 12 or 13, but I have never, this is the largest following I've ever had on any platform. I've, you know, always been creating and producing content, it feels like, for as long as I could or knew how to. And so for this kind of platform to grow and have that growth so fast within like only a few months of having this channel definitely allowed me to sort of start envisioning a future for myself as Asmara and see sort of the value that my work really does have. It definitely helped with your confidence, I will say that. Having a lot of people just respond and engage with your videos, or, you know, seeing that viewer count go up and seeing the impact people say that your videos have in the comments. Having that moment was a great reminder of the impact my work does have and can have in the future. The importance of that is sharing your voice. And so this experience has been sort of a confirmation of my value, and it's also just allowed me to grow so much. That's pretty much all I had to say. Those are kind of some of the side effects and lessons I've learned from making content on the internet, and particularly from having that viral video. I just wanted to sit here and sort of chat about that. Again, I'm sort of trying to work on implementing more casual commentary into the channel, and so this is a topic I thought might make an interesting video. If not for y'all, then at least for me. I love, you know, reflecting on things and getting deep and introspective, so this is the kind of content I'm here for. But if you enjoyed this video, please let me know by leaving a like and a comment below. I'd actually be interested to know, how did you guys find my channel? Was it the Sims 4 documentary? Was it a commentary video? How did y'all find my channel? If you can remember, let me know in the comments below. My name is Asmara. Thank you so much for watching. Let's continue learning and growing together, and I will see you guys next time. Bye everyone!